Hour 1, 20th floor. The lights flickered 3 times and went out for the last time. You do not know that yet. You assume the next surge will bring them back. Listen for the elevator. It does not come. Walk to the tap. Turn it. Water comes for about 90 seconds. Then it does not. Walk to the toilet. Flush it once. It works. Flush it twice. It is the last flush you will get for some unknown number of days. Now you have a decision to make, and you have not pre-decided it. Do you fill the bathtub now, with the water pressure that gravity in the rooftop tank will give you for the next 40 minutes? Or do you go check on the elderly neighbor on the 22nd floor who cannot take the stairs? Both decisions are right. You can do one of them. Who in your apartment makes the call by name in the next 2 minutes? And who on your floor, by name, makes the call for the 11 other apartments? If your answer is, "We will figure it out," you already know how this goes. I am going to walk you through how an apartment actually holds when the grid fails. The honest answer is that the apartment does not hold. The floor does, or the building does, or nothing does. The unit of response in a high-rise blackout is not the apartment. It is the floor. Most apartment survival content gets this wrong because it was written by people in single-family houses thinking about apartments. We will get it right. Here is the decision corner you are going to face. 5 systems in your building will fail in sequence, not in parallel, in the first 8 hours after the grid goes. Each one has a specific time signature. Each one has a specific failure mode. Each one has a specific decision that has to be made by somebody on the floor, by name, before the system fails. Not when, before. The 5 systems are water pressure, waste removal, elevators, entry security, information. The order of failure matters more than the failure of any one of them. The household that pre-decides for water pressure also pre-decides for waste, because waste backs up after water stops flowing. The household that pre-decides for elevators also pre-decides for entry, because the same floor cell handles both. But none of this works at the apartment level. All of it works at the floor level. The floor is 12 apartments, maybe 15, maybe 20. The floor has roles. The floor has pre-decisions. The floor has a contact. The floor was either built before the event, or it does not exist as a structure. Let me be specific. The fortified apartment model is what most content teaches. One door reinforced. Water stockpiled in the unit. Supplies hidden. Lights blocked. The fortified apartment model works for a single-family house in a low-density neighborhood. It does not work in a high-rise. The failure modes are not at the door. They are in the systems shared by everyone on the floor. The structure that holds is the floor. System 1. Water. Let me give you the order, because the order is what most apartment content skips. Water pressure stops within minutes of the building's pumps losing power. Most high-rises have rooftop tanks that gravity feed water for 30 to 90 minutes after pump failure. The upper floors lose pressure first, because they are closest to the tank's bottom level. The lower floors get residual pressure for about an hour longer. The pre-decision is the bathtub fill. Every apartment fills its bathtub before going to check the elderly neighbor, before going to check on the kid in school, before doing anything else. The fill window is 20 to 40 minutes. Miss it, and you have what you had in the apartment when the lights went out. That is usually about 3 days of drinking water if you ration carefully. It is 0 days of hygiene. The fill is not a luxury. The fill is the pre-decision that decides how the next 10 days work. The household that filled the bathtub in the first 20 minutes is fine. The household that decided to do other things first is rationing. The bathtub fill needs a liner. Most bathtubs are not watertight when filled to capacity for 48 hours. Get a one-time use polyethylene bathtub liner now. They cost about $30. They turn your bathtub into a 100-gallon clean water reservoir for the duration. Buy one for every adult and bathtub pair in your apartment today. The other water source nobody mentions in apartment content: your water heater. Most apartment water heaters hold 30 to 50 gallons of clean, potable water. The valve on the bottom drains it. Know where the valve is. Know how to open it. Have a clean 5-gallon container ready to catch the flow. Know that the water is potable for drinking after the pressure has gone. The water heater is not stockpile. It is residue. But it is residue that runs out 2 days slower than the bathtub, if you know it is there. The toilet tank, not the bowl, the tank, is 1 to 2 more gallons per toilet. Clean enough to wash with. Clean enough to flush with later when you need to. Most apartment dwellers do not know this and assume the tank is the same water as the bowl. It is not. 3 water sources in your apartment that you did not pre-decide: bathtub, water heater, toilet tank. Total, about 130 to 180 gallons. Enough for the household for 2 to 3 weeks if rationed. But, and this is the floor layer, the bathtub fill on floor 20 fails 3 minutes before the bathtub fill on floor 3. The upper apartments are out of water first. The pre-decision at the floor level is who shares with whom, in what amounts, and at what threshold. If you live on floor 20, the question is who on floor 3 you have prearranged to share water with on day 4. If you live on floor 3, the question is who on floor 20 needs water on day 4. If neither apartment has had that conversation in March, the conversation does not happen in April. It does not happen at all. System 2. Waste. The waste system fails second. Most apartment buildings have waste pumps somewhere. In the basement, in the parking levels, in lift stations. When pumps stop, the building's waste backs up from the bottom of the stack. Lower floors flood first. I want to be specific. If you are on a high floor, you may think you are safe from this. You are not. The waste in the stack rises until it reaches an apartment whose plumbing failure point is low enough to overflow. That apartment becomes uninhabitable. The apartments above it now have stack contamination working its way up. The pre-decision at the apartment level is the 2-bucket system. 1 bucket lined with a heavy contractor bag for solid waste, with cat litter or sawdust or peat moss for odor control. 1 bucket lined separately for liquid waste, emptied carefully into the toilet bowl when the building system is verified functional, or stored sealed when it is not. Buy 2 5-gallon buckets with snap lids. Buy 3 boxes of cat litter. Buy a roll of contractor-grade trash bags. Total $40. Store under the kitchen sink. Today. The pre-decision at the floor level is which apartment is the verified system check. Somebody walks down the stairs once every 12 hours and checks whether the building system has overflowed. If it has, the floor stops using toilets and switches to the 2-bucket system. If it has not, the floor continues using toilets with minimal flush. Who on your floor owns that check? By name? If the answer is, we will figure it out, by day 3, the floor's bathrooms are unusable, and somebody pre-decided wrong. System 3. Elevators. The elevators stop within seconds of the grid loss. They do not slow down. They lock. Most modern elevators have battery backup that lowers them to the ground floor and opens the doors. Some do not. I want to flag something most apartment content skips. The pre-decision at the floor level is who walks the stairs to check whether somebody is trapped, and who is the floor's first medical responder if somebody on the floor needs help and cannot leave their unit. Building elevators do not come back until the grid does or a generator powers the elevator bank. In an extended outage, that is days. In a major outage, that is weeks. The pre-decision for the elderly and the disabled is the critical one. Most floors have at least one resident who cannot take stairs. That person is now confined to their unit. Somebody on the floor brings water. Somebody brings food. Somebody checks medication. Somebody walks down the stairs to find their medication if the pharmacy is reachable. This is not optional. This is the floor's responsibility. The floor either decided in March who owns this role by name, or the elderly resident on floor 12 does not get water on day 3. The villain frame here is direct. The leader who tries to save everyone alone fails. The leader who decided in March who carries the weight has a floor that holds for 2 weeks. The difference is the conversation that happened or did not happen before any of it mattered. System 4. Entry and security. I'll tell you why this one is the most overlooked. Entry systems fail in 2 ways. Fail open, which means the front door of the building no longer locks. Fail closed, which means the key fob system no longer recognizes anyone, including residents trying to get back in. Either failure mode is a problem. Fail open means the building is now accessible to anyone with the will to enter. Fail closed means a resident who left for water cannot get back home. The pre-decision is the manual override. Every modern apartment building has a manual override. Building management knows where it is. Most residents do not. Somebody on the floor needs to know how the override works, where it is kept, and who has access to it. The intercom system also fails. Residents who used to call the desk can no longer call. The floor's communication layer has to be human. Somebody walks the hallway. Somebody knocks on doors. Somebody has a list of who is in their unit and who is not, by name. The fortified apartment model fails here too. A fortified apartment door does not help if the building's front door is open and a stranger is in the stairwell with you. The unit of safety is the floor that knows who belongs there and who does not. System 5. Information. The last system to fail is also the one most apartments do not even know exists. Building management's information layer. The texts, the lobby screen, the property management app, all of those go silent within an hour of the grid loss. Most residents wait for those channels to come back. They do not come back until the grid does. Let me be clear about what replaces them. The pre-decision at the floor level is the human information layer. Who knocks on doors? Who collects information from the building manager, who is now in the lobby with a clipboard, not behind a screen? Who walks up and down the stairs once a day to coordinate with the floor above and the floor below? If your floor has not pre-decided this, day 3 is the day the floor discovers that nobody knows what the rest of the building knows. The grocery store run that floor 7 did at 6 a.m. never made it to floor 12. The medication run from floor 4 never reached floor 20. The building manager's update on the water restoration timeline never made it to anyone above the elevator bank. Information in a no-grid high-rise moves by feet on stairs. Or it does not move. Now the 3 pre-decisions every floor has to make. These are not apartment level, these are floor level. If your floor has not had this conversation, the work for this week is to start it. Pre-decision 1. The water share threshold. When does an apartment with surplus water in its bathtub share with an apartment that has run out? Not whether, when. Under what specific signal? At what specific reserve level? Who tracks it? The answer cannot be when they ask. The asking is too late. The pre-decision is at what reserve level the floor cell pools. A working rule that several floors I know of have adopted. Below 30% of bathtub reserve, the apartment notifies the floor's water share tracker. At 20%, the tracker reallocates from apartments above 60%. The numbers are arbitrary. The rule is not. The rule is that the threshold was named, written down, and agreed before anyone was thirsty. Pre-decision 2. The vertical mobility coordinator. Who on the floor is the named person who walks the stairs twice a day to coordinate with the floors above and below? Who carries information from the lobby up the stack? Who carries needs from the upper floors down? This is a role. It has a name. It is not a committee. The vertical mobility coordinator is also the floor's emergency services interface. If somebody on the floor needs an ambulance and the elevators are dead, the coordinator is the one who walks down the stairs to the lobby to find the building manager, or to walk outside and flag whatever emergency response is available. That role does not exist by accident on day 6. It exists by name on day 0, or it does not exist at all. Pre-decision 3. The evacuation trigger. At what specific signal does the building empty? Structural concerns? Fire? Total water depletion past the point where neither bathtub nor bottled reserves nor floor sharing can fix it. The trigger has to be pre-agreed at the floor level, because the floor evacuates together or it evacuates dangerously. Stairwell traffic with 30 people moving in opposite directions on a 42nd floor stairwell is a different problem than the same people evacuating in sequence with a named order. Who decides for your floor? By name? Today? If the answer is the building manager, you do not have a floor pre-decision. Building managers manage buildings. They do not make floor-level evacuation calls in real time. The floor either pre-agreed on its own trigger with its own named caller, or the floor evacuates whenever individual apartments decide to leave, which is the chaos most evacuations actually look like. The 5-floor cell is the minimum unit that works for a high-rise sustained outage. 5 contiguous floors. Each floor has its own coordination structure. Each floor has a named contact who talks to the floor above and the floor below. The 5-floor cell allows the upper floor water failure to be balanced against the lower floor pump backup. It allows the elderly on floor 20 to receive medication from floor 4. It allows the information layer to span the entire stack with 3 or 4 runners instead of 20 separate channels. The building cell is the next layer. 6 or 7 contiguous floor cells covering 30 to 35 floors. The building cell has one named coordinator who liaises with building management and emergency services. The building cell exists before the outage, or it does not exist. If your building has 15 floors, the floor cell covers half the building, and the building cell covers all of it. If your building has 30 floors, the floor cell covers a quarter, and you need 3 floor cells in coordination. I want to tell you what most apartment residents have never done: walked their own stairwell, top to bottom, once, with a watch, knowing how long it takes them to walk the entire building, knowing where the choke points are, knowing which floors have the elderly residents and which have small children. Most apartment dwellers do not even know who lives on the floor above them. The work for this month is to walk your stairwell, once, from top to bottom. Knock on 3 doors on 3 different floors. Introduce yourself. Trade contact information. That is the start of the cell. 3 things most apartment survival content gets wrong, dangerously. You do not run a gasoline-powered generator inside the apartment, or in the hallway, or on a partly open balcony. Carbon monoxide from a fuel generator in an enclosed or semi-enclosed apartment building space kills people in hours, not days. Generators run outside, on the ground level, with a long, heavy-duty extension cable. If you cannot run it outside, you do not run it. You do not light candles. The fire risk in a high-rise is total. Once a fire starts above the 5th floor in a building where the elevators are dead and the sprinkler system depends on the water system that has failed, the fire reaches the upper floors before anyone reaches the lobby. Use LED, solar charging during the day. A small, foldable solar panel on the balcony or in the window during daylight, charging 2 or 3 high-capacity power banks. Headlamps for hands-free work at night. Never open flame. You do not assume the building manager is on top of it. The building manager is one person managing 400 apartments with no power, no elevators, no intercoms, and possibly their own family at home. The manager is doing what they can. The floor handles itself. The building manager is the liaison for things outside the building. The building handles what is inside. These 3 are not opinions. These are the 3 things that get apartment residents killed in extended outages. The household that pre-decided the LED layer and the no generator indoors rule and the no candle rule does not die in a fire on day 3. The household that decided to figure it out does. Day 1 of the high-rise blackout is not the same event as day 4. Day 1. The elevator is dead. The water is dropping. Some apartments still have their phones charged. The lobby has the building manager talking to whoever shows up. Most residents are waiting. The floor that pre-decided is already filling bathtubs, walking the stairwell, and naming rolls. The floor that did not is in their apartments, wondering when the lights come back. Day 4. The water in the bathtubs is the only water. The waste system has backed up in the lower floors. The elevators are dust. The phones are dead. The building manager has not been seen since day 2, because the building manager went home to their family on day 2 and is not coming back until the grid does. The lobby is empty. The information layer is the stairwell, or it is nothing. The floor that pre-decided is fine on day 4. The floor that didn't is collapsing into individual apartments with no shared resources and no shared information. The pre-decision is to assume day 4. Then day 1 is easy. Walk to your apartment door right now. Open it. Look down the hallway. 8 questions. Read them. Then answer them out loud. 1. Name the person on your floor by first name and apartment number who is the vertical mobility coordinator. Out loud. 2. Name the person on your floor who is the floor's water share tracker. Out loud. 3. Name the elderly or mobility-limited resident on your floor whose name you know, by first name and apartment number. 4. Name the location of the manual override for the building's front door. Out loud. 5. Name the 3 apartments on the floor above yours where you have introduced yourself. Out loud. 6. Name the 3 apartments on the floor below yours where you have introduced yourself. Out loud. 7. Name the closest stairwell exit in seconds from your apartment door, walked at normal pace. Out loud. 8. Name the person on the floor who knows where the building's manual gas shutoff is, if it exists. If you got past 2 without hesitating, your floor has a structure starting. If you got stuck on 3, the work for this week is to walk the hallway and introduce yourself. If you got stuck on 5 and 6, the work for this month is to start the floor cell. If you got stuck on 7, the work is tonight. Do not buy the gas generator. Do not buy the case of long burn candles. Do not buy the fortified deadbolt as your first move. Buy 2 5-gallon buckets, 3 boxes of cat litter, 1 bathtub liner, 1 LED headlamp, and 1 30,000 milliamp hour power bank with a small foldable solar panel. Then walk to the apartment 3 doors down. Knock. Introduce yourself. Replace the building manager's phone number on your fridge with the first name of the person on the floor above yours with the apartment number. That is the structure. By name. Tonight.